Mr. Speaker, and through you to the members, I rise in favor of House 4672. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the gentleman from the North End for once again placing our children, our future at the top of the priority list, whether it was through universal free school meals, historic increases to public education funding, or today through implementing evidence-based literacy statewide in our classrooms. And to the gentlelady from Wellesley and the gentleman from Bedford, thank you for once again demonstrating that being careful, thoughtful, collaborative does not need to come at the expense of being bold or doing the right thing when it comes to education policy. And to the gentleman from Acton, my friend, Rep. Sena, with whom I have the honor of sharing the representation of your hometown, what a pleasure it has been to co-file this bill and work on it with you. Thank you. I come at this issue, Mr. Speaker, as the father of 4 young children and as a former special education math teacher at Frederick Douglass Academy 1 in Central Harlem, an opportunity granted to me by Teach for America and by Dr. Gregory Hodge, one of the greatest educators to ever grace God's green earth. My classroom, Mr. Speaker, was full of extremely bright, talented, gifted students in 7th and 8th grade in special education. They could do algebra and geometry at a 9th or 10th grade level. We were doing quadratics in my classroom in 7th grade. But faced with a simple arithmetic word problem where they didn't recognize 1 or 2 of the words, my students could not do it. And the reason that they could not do it is that they were not taught properly how to read at a young age. They were taught to guess out words rather than to sound them out using phonics. And I cannot shake the memory of growing visibly frustrated with my students thinking that they were being defiant or lazy or skipping words on purpose when in fact they were doing exactly what they had been taught as little kids. And I am so grateful to my colleagues at Frederick Douglass Academy who demanded that I believe in my students' ability to read and who intervened with the best practices that they knew. And I'm talking about Kay, Dico, Cardenas, Ma, Elliott, Okwemba, Rosenbaum, Rodriguez, Encarnacion, Nixon, Bramble, Hyacinth, Hodge. Heroes. That was in 2008. Research had already begun to show that phonics was a far superior method of building strong reading skills in students. But the teachers had already been trained, the textbooks purchased, the curricula bought. We've seen how this has worked out in Massachusetts. 40% of our 3rd grade children reading at grade level, and we know that that figure is far lower for the most vulnerable populations in the Commonwealth. At our committee hearing on this bill, Mr. Speaker, we listened to 5 hours of testimony, parent after parent saying that they had spent tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars that they could not afford trying to remediate poor literacy instruction for their kids and the harm that it caused them. We heard from student after student, and we heard from teacher after teacher after teacher who told us about the power of switching to evidence-based literacy. We heard from the last several Massachusetts Teachers of the Year, and Mr. Speaker, I believe them. Their testimony pleaded with us to take the measures that are embodied in this bill, create an evidence-based framework for curricula statewide, require adherence, collect data, and continuously improve. 40 other states, Mr. Speaker, have already started to take some of the measures in this bill, but the bill that has reached the House floor today, thanks to so many people who have had their hands on the pen, including the team at Ways and Means, represents the gold standard of United States literacy legislation. It is worthy of being part of the law of our great Commonwealth. And it is also worthy of stewarding the legacy of some of our greatest residents and teachers, from Frederick Douglass of Lynn to Ellen Garrison of Concord to Horace Mann of Franklin. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully, humbly, and strongly urge the members of this House to vote yes on House 4672 to advance evidence-based literacy. And for those who are taught solely using 3 queuing, that is YEA and the green one. Thank you.